So, it was the summer of 1988 when my family member decided that what San Francisco really needs is a class on female ejaculation. So, she could only get 3 people to come to this class, and so she asked me, please, will you come and hang out and be with her? And I said, yeah, sure, I'll come. So the day the class started, so it's me. So, oh, this is a much better audience than my students. The day of the class, we get there and we're sitting there on the floor, and you know, she'd given us all a vibrator, and kind of looming above us was this giant drawing of the lower part of the female anatomy, and she was going through her lecture and telling us that we were going to have some homework. And the homework was that we were going to have to go home and tell our partners to cooperate in this little adventure, and that they would have to, at some point, stick their fingers inside our vagina, well, not our vaginas, but my vagina, let's say, ours, and to find the G-spot, do this sort of kind of a come here. And she said, you know, like you're telling someone, come here, come here, come here. So when she did that, suddenly I remembered this other thing that happened 8 years prior, and I will say that that this class was the start of a really beautiful career for her. But 8 years prior, in 1980, in a much more sort of innocent time, I was hanging out in my kitchen on a Sunday morning and having my second cup of coffee and being very relaxed and reading the Sunday paper, and I get a phone call, and it happens to be this family member. And I pick up, and she's like, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm kind of hanging out and having a pretty relaxed Sunday morning. And she said, well, you got to come over here right away. And I said, well, I do? Okay. Why? What's up? What's going on? You sound like you're in trouble. And she's like, I am in a lot of trouble right now, and you have to come over. And I said, okay, I will. I have to get dressed, and I'll get on the bus, and I'll be right over. Should I take a cab? I mean, is it an emergency? And she said, no, and maybe you don't have to take a cab, but you do need to get over here right away. And I said, okay, well, can you just tell me, like, why? And she said, well, I was masturbating. And I said, okay, why do I have to come over? Still, I don't understand. And she said, well, I was masturbating with a candle. I thought, wow, that's kind of creative. Taper or votive? And she said, listen, stop making jokes. You have to get over here right away. And I said, well, I don't understand. I said, how big is this candle? And she said, it was the taper, it was burnt down, it's about 3 inches long, but you have to get over here, it's stuck inside of me. And I said, what? How can a candle be you cannot get anything stuck inside your vagina? Babies come out of our vaginas. It's a 3-inch candle the size of a tampon. How could you possibly have a candle stuck in your vagina? And she said, well, that's just it. It's not stuck in my vagina. No. All right. Okay. I'll get dressed and I'll be over. So I'm thinking, you know, I'm on the bus. I'm thinking, geez, I hope the thing came out before I get there. Because I don't even what am I know about this? I don't know anything about it. What am I going to do? And so on the way there, I was kind of thinking about ways that maybe, you know, we could deal with this situation. But then really I was hoping, you know, maybe the thing came out. And so I get there and, you know, I knock on the door. She practically grabs me, get in here! So I knew that the candle was still, you know, in its current position. So okay, all right, well, we got to think of something here. Oh, I know. I got an idea. Do you have any gloves? Now remember, this is 1980, and back in those days, you couldn't go to Walgreens and get latex gloves like you can now. And she's like, gloves? What do we need gloves for? And I said, well, because I think I need to stick my hand in your vagina. And I just really don't feel it's appropriate to stick my hand inside my family member's vagina. So do you have any gloves? And she's like, no, I don't have any gloves. I'm like, are you sure? Do you have any hair dye? She had some hair dye. She ran into the bathroom and got that box of Lady Clairol, and I don't know if you remember what those gloves were like for people that are a little bit older, but they were these horrible plastic things with these really kind of rough edges, and they were stuck to the directions of the hair, and you had to like virtually kind of stick your hands in them and like peel them off of the directions, right? And so I was about ready to use those Lady Clairols in ways that they had never imagined. And so I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. You're going to get on the floor, and I'm going to insert my fingers into your vagina, and I'm going to search. I'm going to search for the top of that candle. And when I find it, I'm going to count to 3, and I'm going to push on it, and then you're going to bear down. Okay? Are you ready? Here I go. I'm going in. Okay. Found the top. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Nothing. We tried this 3 times and nothing. Nothing. I had the top of that candle right there. Nothing. So she really started to freak out. She really started to panic. And I, quite frankly, I was kind of losing my patience with her and her candle. And I really was losing. I didn't know what to do next. And so I thought, well, candles. Maybe an enema. A hot enema. But then, exactly. I thought it would have to be a really hot enema to like melt a candle. So we nixed that idea, and so I said, you know what? Maybe what we really need to do is we need to get you to the hospital. And she just totally, no, I can't go to the hospital. I cannot walk into that hospital and tell the person at that desk that I have a candle stuck in my ass. And I said, why? She'll ask me why. How did it get there? And I said, well, you just tell her. I said, listen, this is San Francisco. It's Sunday morning. You gotta know that there's like probably hundreds of people in hospitals and emergency rooms all over the city with odd things stuck up their butt. You'll be fine. No, I can't do it. So I said, all right. Here's the last thing I can suggest is that you go into the bathroom and you squat. You squat over the toilet and take a book and hang out in there for a while and see if anything comes out. Well, the candle did eventually come out after about half an hour of her sitting in there. And I'm always kind of amazed at, how careers are made. And I somehow think that I had something to do with hers. Thank you.